Out front tonight, the breaking news, Iran declaring victory this hour. The foreign minister going on TV tonight to make this declaration.
We are
the victor of this battlefield. The Islamic Republic of Iran has emerged as a victor. The Iranian people achieved victory. This is not a slogan. This is no exaggeration.
That's the sort of propaganda you might expect from the Iranians, but it actually happens to be something a shipping executive I spoke with tonight backs up. Ship stuck in the Strait for now a long time. He told me, quote, unfortunately, the White House, the U.S. are losers. This is both Iran and the United States say that they're close to a deal, an agreement to discuss a deal, except for they are clearly not talking about the same deal. And I'm just going to go through a couple things really quickly to make the point. First, the Strait of Hormuz, right? It's closed. A U.S. official said that, in this initial agreement, the Strait would open. And that sounds good, right? Finally, thank God. Well, Araghchi says it will not reopen unless it is under Iranian management and unless there are fees to transit the Strait, otherwise known as a toll or whatever you'd like to call it. But they are both things that Trump has said in the past are absolutely no-goes. Okay, so that's the Strait. And now what about the thing at the core of all of this, the whole reason that the U.S. went to war in the first place, apparently, which was Iran's nuclear material? A Trump administration official said Iran's nuclear program will be dismantled and that nuclear material will be destroyed and removed. Araghchi says, well, we'll just keep talking. They will only engage in nuclear talks during a 60-day negotiation period following the signing of this thing, which is a memorandum of understanding, which means they're basically agreeing to nothing on the nuclear deal, so they say. A senior U.S. official tells CNN that none of Iran's money is to be released until they perform. This is another crucial thing, right? All that frozen money that you heard about. Remember the pallets of cash that Trump criticized Obama for supposedly releasing to Iran? Iran now says, well, actually, there's money here. $24 billion is going to be released to Iran, half immediately on signing the quote-unquote memorandum. So the two sides are not on the same page on the most basic details ahead of signing an agreement to talk about a deal. Trump said yesterday there would probably be a signing ceremony in Europe over the weekend, and Vice President J.D. Vance would be in attendance, right? So they were pumping up the whole event. But now Araghchi says the agreement could be signed by both sides remotely in the next few days, which is sure a quick downgrade to DocuSign. And if that doesn't give you pause about what this deal actually is, here's something that is worth thinking about. Some extraordinary new reporting from CNN tonight with two sources telling us that on May 19th, and just put a pin in that date, the U.S.'s top general made a secret and rushed visit to U.S. Central Command headquarters in Florida. Secret and rushed because there were really important plans on the table that could have been executed right away for the U.S. military to send a significant number of U.S. ground troops into Iran to forcibly seize the highly enriched uranium. Those briefings were so urgent, so sensitive, that General Dan Kane rushed there from a meeting of senior NATO officials that at the time was going on in Brussels. Now, U.S. military commanders determined that this operation could result in a significant number of American casualties, even if it was successful. Okay, so now back to the date I asked you to put a pin in, May 19th. It was on that same day as all of this was happening. Kane's rushing to CENTCOM for this briefing on a possible mass ground invasion. Trump says this.
You know how it is to negotiate with a country where you're beating them badly. They come to the table, they're begging to make a deal, because they're begging to make a deal.
Now, here's the thing. If Iran was begging for a deal on that day, as Trump, by the way, claims they are again tonight, why would there have been an urgent rush to get America's top general in person to go through a massive ground invasion plan that included an expectation of a significant number of American casualties? It's this sort of conflict that raises questions about the 39 other times that Trump has said Iran was begging for a deal or that a deal was close at hand, including this time.